All, it's showtime. This is Kevon Turman, and I'm your host of Food for Thought. Thank you for joining us today. I'm super hyped. Um, Today, we might have to switch things up a little bit just because I'm not sure whether my co host and the person that I'm going to be interviewing is going to make it. I know she's having some difficulty. So, if you all could just bear with me and tolerate me, that's cool. Would love to have a few people pop on, if at all possible. All you have to do is drop your email in the comments, and I can make that happen because you need a special link. How's everybody doing? We're gonna wait for a couple people to pop in today. Gonna wait for a couple people to pop in. We're gonna change some of these settings here so you folks can we can make sure it's not private. All right. So, want to know what's on your mind today? We'll make it public. There we go. What's on your mind? What's up, beautiful people? Let me get some thumbs up if you can hear me. Let me see some love. Show me some love. Give me a heart. Give me a thumbs up. Give me something. I think I'll be able to see your comments. Reset the settings. Hoping everybody is doing well today. We're excited. What's up, sis? I see you. Can always count on you, sis. I might have to bring you on. Make sure your hair done. All right. What up, Shad? Appreciate you, brother. We got to catch up for sure. What's going on, beautiful people? Hope everybody is doing well. Yeah, today was supposed to be a day where I chopped it up with one of my homegirls. Yeah, it's not done, huh? That's cool. I mean, you still can come on. Just drop the email below, and I'll make it happen. I'll send you the link. Supposed to be chop it up with one of my homegirls today, Bianca Golden. She was, I think she made the top four in America's Next Top Model, which is pretty dope. She has an incredible story. Not sure what's going on. She's having some difficulty, so we'll see. She may or may not pop in. We'll be ready for her if she does. But wanted to just still show y'all some love and come on and just chop it up. Not sure what y'all want to talk about. I don't even know what I want to talk about, but I definitely know that I was prepared to talk to my home girl. I love the love that's out there. Love my home girl. Flag, she out there. She doing big things. We definitely want to get her and my boy Mike on the ones and twos on the split screen so that we can have some fun and talk. I love our conversations. What's going on with y'all, man? It's a lot going on in the world, and to be honest with you, it's been pretty heavy for me. I know over the last week or so, I've needed to decompress and just really get my mind right and get my spirit right. I think a lot of times we are um, too fast to either jump on the front line or to be seen, if you will, or to always be that person. And that's definitely not me. It's definitely not what the brand represents. And so I've had a lot of back office and basement talks with a few stakeholders and leaders within the community. And I love the direction that we're going in terms of moving our people to um, a different level. I think oftentimes we're short-sighted. In a couple of weeks, most folks won't be saying Floyd's name. And so we are looking to do some things that are meaningful and sustainable, and that we can move Delaware first in the direction where we could just do some big things. So I'm really excited about that. If it wasn't Corona, then it's the racial injustice, which has always been around, but has really come to the forefront as of late. And yeah, it just goes on and on and on. And now we're starting to see a surge. Not sure if you all are plugged into these numbers, but I know I got my boy out there, my boy Jay, who actually has his own tally and spreadsheet of how it's hitting and the ebbs and flows. So pay attention to what's going on. Don't be too quick to get out there. But I know everybody's trying to socialize and get back to normal life. Appreciate you all for coming in. Yeah, say word. Uh, Blessings to you too, good brother. And Aaron, what's up, man? We gotta talk. We gotta reconnect. Looking forward to it, man. But yeah, it's a lot going on in the world, and I appreciate everybody for just leaning into the work that we're doing. Looking to possibly explore some great partnerships and some great opportunities where the Brothers Brunch brand can get out there and just do more of the work that we're doing, but we can bring it at scale because I think a lot of it is unfortunately due to budgetary restraints. We can't do all that we want to do. So in order to do that, we got to bring it to scale, and we need dollars for that. So they've been really spending a lot of time on trying to just do some research on these grants and get some funding and get some backing behind all of what we want to do. There's a question that I always ask some of our guests and more so the viewers as well, but it's always, how often do you set yourself on fire to keep other people warm? I think it's one of those things that we do more often than not, where we are wanting to help and wanting to do for the community and wanting to give and give and give, but then sooner or later you find yourself literally running around on fire, and now you got to put yourself out, or your spouse has to put the fire out, or your children, so on and so forth. So one of the things I'm trying to practice in 2020 is not setting myself on fire to keep other people warm. But definitely appreciate you all today. We are gearing up for some special shows out there. One of the shows that it means a lot to me, and I want to talk about briefly today, is called The Invisible Man. And the tagline for that is uh, Why Dads Disappear. And so, yes, The Invisible Man, Why Dads Disappear. And at the end of the day, had to get through Father's Day. I thought that it would be cool to give Father's Day its time, right? And so I decided not to do a show last week, but I definitely would love to start to dig in, and I have a couple options of guests that I want to bring on in terms of the Invisible Man, why dads disappear. There's a lot of reasons why dads disappear, and I really want to take some time to unpack that because there's a lot of hurt and there's a lot of pain in the community, particularly with men of color, and you can't fix what you're not willing to face. And what's happening with us in our community is that we are suffering in silence, and we are perpetuating the stereotypes, and we're struggling, but we're struggling behind the scenes because to our family, to our friends, we seem really, really strong, but we have a lot of past hurts and pains that we've yet to deal with. So definitely want to bring a therapist on, definitely want to bring a brother, and definitely want to bring a sister to talk about the implications and the residual that comes with either having a dad not in the home or having a dad in the home and not present, because that's another layer that we need to unpack. One of my brothers had to tell me the other day. He said, "Listen, man, just because your dad wasn't in the house, you have to kind of slow down with assuming that when fathers are in the homes, that they're actually in the homes." And I of course asked, "What does that mean?" And what he told me was like, "Look, I learned absolutely nothing from my dad. He was there, he paid the bills, but the brother did not fulfill me emotionally, nor did he teach me how to do anything. Every day he came home tired. Every day he showed up, but he never showed out." That was a powerful word for me, and I needed to hear it. So I definitely want to bring people to the table where there's a little balance. And yeah, I see you. I see you, sis. We might have to explore that. I don't know anything about your that part of your life, so that'll be awesome to unpack. But yeah, so we're definitely gonna do that show, and we also are going to do a show with one of my colleagues. I work with them, and it's going to be a lot to unpack because all things considered, um, my colleague is, and I don't know the proper terminology, but there's a lot going on in the world where there are, let's say, there are people who are either transgender or they are um, cis, trans this or trans that. There's a lot, and so much so that I think some of us get it wrong. And so this person that I work with is means a lot to me, and they are their pronoun is them, they, their, and I'm challenged sometimes because I might slip up and say what I'm not supposed to say. And I find that there's a lot of people who either don't show up in a meaningful way. And sis, I just sent you the invite, so just let me know if you want to jump in. Um, is a lot of people that just don't really lean into if you were born a male and you're living your life as a female. For some people, they're not going to take the time to say she, or call you what you want to be called. And I'm not sure whether we're all in different spaces, I'm sure, but I know for us and for me it's a challenge just because you grow up with these traditional views and ideologies and the whole nine. And so we're all having to make adjustments, and there's so many layers to who this person is, and they are amazing, and I highly respected by me. Just one, because it takes a certain amount of courage and fortitude to live. Uh, Whether I agree or not with anything, it takes a certain person to be 100% who they feel they were born to be. And so I want to demystify a lot of things, a lot of untruths, and a lot of misnomers and things of that nature that people in the community may assume just because they don't know. And I think oftentimes in our community, we're more often than not, we are judging and super ignorant towards a lot of issues and things of that nature just because we don't understand. And I think the time is now where we start to change our mentality and do a little more to at least try to understand. Not agree per se, but to at least try to understand. So I'm super excited about the fact that the person accepted my invitation, and they are extremely excited to just be in a space where whatever your opinion is, they're willing to answer questions, because oftentimes we're making these judgments and this is the way I was raised, or this is what they told me in the church. And at the end of the day, believe it or not, there's somebody in your family that's not living their truth because they weren't able to, and a lot of that might have something to do with you. So I can't wait to really have that conversation. It's a conversation that particularly our in our age, just come on in. All you gotta do is accept the invitation. I sent it to you, Sherelle. Um, but you were talking about next week, I'm sure. But you can come in now. But I'm super excited about that, and I'm also going to be collaborating with my boy. We're going to be doing a joint. Change your screen. Make your video make your video FaceTime. So take your time, do that, and then I'll bring you in. But I see you in the waiting room. Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm gonna be kicking it with my boy Jaden Ferreira. Man, we go back 20 some odd years. Met him at the Resurrection Center in Wilmington, Delaware, and the brother changed my life then, and he continues to change my life now. And we've been rocking ever since. We had a hiatus because he moved away, but that's my guy, man. I really respect him. It's funny. We're gonna do another show about friendships and friendships that fall off, and particularly with men, and how we handle relationships, right? Friendships. We tend to just be like shrug it off, like, yo, all right, well, we grew apart. But all things considered, there's a emotional piece to that, and we do emote, but we do it differently. So we're gonna unpack that with a specialist and a few brothers that's gonna come to the table. But without further ado, I'm gonna bring my homegirl, for whom I really respect. Yo, what up, Dame? Um, she big sis, and the crazy thing is, you don't need a lot of time with people. Like, spirit, right, and energy doesn't lie. And so for those who know me, know I feel a way about Delaware a little bit. I feel like it's sometimes it can be incestuous, or you have to be a certain person to get certain people's attention. And if you're not, then you're just not amongst those people. And I've always felt that way just because I'm from Philly, and I've had to kind of work my way into certain circles when I was a young boy. But now that I'm adult, I put away those childish things, and I don't try to work myself in any circles. I just, I match your energy. And so this woman is amazing, and she is one of the leaders of the Neon Blanc. And without further ado, impromptu, I spit. What's up?
Hi, baby.
I can't hear you. You got to do
Well,
something with your What's going on with your sound?
I don't know. It looks like everything
Make
is
sure you're
good.
not on. Make sure that your mic is
There you go. Is that better?
your audio. Go to your settings. Make sure your audio is. Let me try to change something up. Here you go. Can I hear you now?
Can you hear me? Did it?
Hmm. Let me see.
Can you hear me now?
I
Hello.
definitely can hear you.
You can hear me?
Can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
Let me see something. You might have to go out and come back in, but hold on. Let me just see whether I can.
You know, I don't even know all this technical stuff.
You talking and I can't hear you. It's all good. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get it. I love technical difficulties. I ain't no stranger to them, that's for sure. All right, let me see. Say something.
Hello.
It's all good. We're gonna get this. Say something.
Hello.
Technical difficulties. I ain't no stranger to them, that's for sure. All right, let me see. Hold on. Okay, so the audience can hear you, obviously. Um, yeah, so we can talk. I just can't hear you on this end, but that's cool. I'm going to try to make one more adjustment. Give me 1 second. It might just be on my side. It has to be on my side because the audience can hear you.
Okay.
Say something.
Hello.
I got you.
Got me.
See? Me, I'm trying to be all, legit and fancy. What's going on?
I mean, I got one of those too. So
You got one of those, and you got about 18 lights over there. What's going on with you?
nothing. Everything is great. I was just listening to all the greatness you were saying when when you introduced into the show. I'm from Philly too. I'm a Philly girl, born and raised, and I get it about the. I mean, Delaware is just different. I find that it's just different, and sometimes the connection is a little, wavy. So it's great to meet people and be able to connect and share like-mindedness.
Yeah, I love it. And the thing is like, it's no shade towards Delaware. And the thing is, like, I love it here. Obviously, I wouldn't have decided to raise a family here. I think the thing is that, in Philly is what Philly is. You're born and raised. You know the circles. The people. The politics. Delaware hits different a little bit sometimes, and you got to learn to appreciate it. But you absolutely have to learn to navigate it, particularly if you are in any type of business or you're trying to make any type of moves. Regardless, you're gonna have to. There's gonna be some intersection there for sure. So you definitely can't take the stance as I'm just gonna do my own thing.
No, no, because you will not make it.
Yeah, at all. At all. So listen. Tell my viewers who you are, because I know who you are, but I don't think they do. And I think, outside of you being a businesswoman, entrepreneur, and so many other things, right? Mother, wife, you are doing some amazing things. So can you just give us a quick synopsis of who you are?
Oh, you're far too kind, Kavan.
I'm just saying.
So I am Sherelle Flagg. As you said already, I am a wife, a mother. We have 4 beautiful children. We are a blended family. Business owner. My husband and I are both hairstylists, still working in the industry, been in it for over 25 years.
Nice.
So we own a salon and spa, Raish, in Newcastle, Delaware. And we are also.
Can I interrupt? Do you know I mispronounce that every single time?
Everybody does. It's okay.
It's always rush.
Actually are going through like a rebranding now,
okay.
And we're including, the correct way to pronounce it to kind of help everybody out a little bit. Because a lot of people says like fresh, because it looks like fresh without the F, So
good. Allow me to interrupt just because I want to make sure I don't get you all the time. So
listen, I'm just happy to be here. This
all right, so
the hat on.
So Pete, there's something special about your salon, and what can you
I'm going down a lane of like the environmentally friendly. Can you talk about some of your products and why that was even important for you to have a natural, talk a little bit more about what you offer.
So I know now Delaware has some more eco-friendly salons, green salons, what they call them as well too. But we are Delaware's first eco-friendly and green salon, and it just really is cutting down that carbon blueprint and making sure that we doing our part and being environmentally friendly. So we do a lot. It's becoming like second nature to us, so we don't even really emphasize it anymore. In the beginning we did a whole lot, and we probably should go back to it.
Okay.
But we do a lot of practices that help cut down that carbon blueprint, recycling, and we have a product line, Race Products, where we make all of our hair care products homegrown here, right here in Delaware. And a lot of people don't know that. Like, we're not private labeling or anything like that. We are getting it down and dirty and making them ourselves and producing them and doing everything from beginning to end.
Nice. I love it. I think now, of course, you sent me a few things, and I didn't put my oil in, but is there hemp in that? Is that the one that has hemp in it? Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
That thing has me shining. Not today, but it has me shining. I like it. I'm really proud of you all, man. I love entrepreneurship in general. I love social entrepreneurship. I love it all. I love anytime anybody's willing to step out. But I also think that people have a perception of people like yourself, right? Now, I've been to your home. Oh my God, right? I'm not gonna hold you. I took a picture of a few things and sent them to my wife and was like, this is serious. And since then, you all had done some upgrades, man. So I love the fact that you all live well. But for those who don't know you, being around you is a whole vibe. And I gotta tell you that, because here's the thing: some of us Black folks, right? We get a couple of dollars, we work hard, and we have some nice things, and not everybody feels comfortable around us. And I appreciate the vibe. I appreciate just the warm and friendly, just embracing me. After you sized me up, I'm sure, because you had to do your due diligence. You think you slick. I knew you did you sized me up a little bit. But I appreciate the way you all are welcoming, and it's not just me. Obviously, it's everybody that comes in contact. Now, sure, being who you guys are, you get a little hate. Can we talk about a little bit of that and how you typically try to navigate it?
I mean, it's so funny because I never really, I don't know. I just try to be who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just try. I consider myself just to be real and just authentic, and I don't do well with hiding how I feel and all of that kind of stuff. But I welcome the haters.
Yeah.
I do.
That means you're doing something right?
I do. I mean, and I'm not trying to. I'm definitely a very humble person, so I'm not cocky at all or anything like that. And I heard you talk about when you started the show saying how, setting yourself on fire to keep other people warm. And you said to me one time a while ago on a phone call, and you said, I really don't know you guys a whole lot, but from what I see, it seems as if, and I believe that, we do. And it's not because we're trying to do things to gain things from other people or to get recognition or anything like that. We just are helpers by nature. And sometimes that just don't go over well, with people. Sometimes people think just something else to it, or you're doing this to get this or whatever, and we're not. But it doesn't stop people's actions. Really, I don't even take it as a motivation when people be like, oh, the haters, they help me motivate. I don't need them to help me motivate. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be there doing their job regardless, because that's their job. Everybody has a job. So I want them to stay employed too. So we're doing, what we're doing, and we're not here trying to gain haters or nothing like that. And we want everybody really to just, be the best that they can be and do the best that you can do. And if we help you with that, then I'm good with that.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I'm going to say on my end, it's easier said than done. I think I grew up wanting to be liked and wanting to be a part of something and wanting to get approval. I don't know how much of it is, you know, me being the only child and not having to, because I think siblings go through so much internally that once they get out in the world, they're like, listen, I got brothers. Listen, I got sisters, right? And so a lot of that I had to, you know, my mom, single mom, she did the best that she could. Actually did a phenomenal job, if I may say so myself.
Yes, she did. I've been looking at the product.
That's my homegirl. But yeah, I went through a serious time where I really did want a seat at the table, or I wanted to get that stamp of approval from folks, whether I admitted it or not. And I think me being a Black man, oftentimes you never hear me say it, right? So that was an internal thing where I just wanted that. Even when it came down to joining a fraternity, like I had no idea who I was. All I knew was my mentor was the greatest man ever, and I wanted to be just like him, right? So I come in all like, yeah, I'm doing this, right? Have no clue as to what I'm getting myself into, right? So it's just like my whole life has been spent chasing something. And so like when you think about the chase, right? The grit and all that, we know the grind and the whole nine. But when you think about the chase and how you've, you know, now evolved and kind of pivoted and came into your own in terms of just loving the skin you're in, at what stage were you able to really say that? Were you like full blown adult? Were you like full blown like married with kids? Were you like 18? Talk to us about it.
I think that for me, I always danced to the beat of my own drum.
Really?
And I did. And it was, I'm the oldest out of my siblings.
Out of how many?
So I have 3 siblings, and I'm the oldest.
Black folks always gotta think
all around. Like it's like
my mom. Think about dad or mom.
I have 2 from my mom. And then from my father, my biological father.
Right.
Not my dad. He's my biological father. Because talk about that shit on the show. Okay. You know. I have a brother, you know, by him.
Okay.
As well. And me and my siblings, I mean, we cool. I'm just older, so I see things differently now. My younger sister, her and I are 16 years apart, so it's a huge gap. I was more like a mom to her than, you know, a sister.
Right.
So I just always felt like I know what I want, and I'm just going to go for that. And it didn't matter, you know, what anybody else was doing or, you know, what they was telling me I should be doing.
Right.
I always have just done my own thing. And now, I mean, to answer your question, I probably felt like established, like, and like I was cool. Probably, I'm going to say when I hit my 30s, maybe I had that feeling like, okay, you know, like you're good with yourself. Has nothing to do with, you know, things.
Validation of other people.
None of that. It was just with myself. Like, okay, you are good with yourself. But it took going through some things, you know, to get there. And now it's like for me, I'm my worst critic. I put the most pressure on myself to this day. It's for me, it's never enough. It's what is next? Where do you want next?
Yeah. Wow, talk about it. Say that. Say that.
I mean, seriously, it's like my brain just doesn't stop and say this is it. It's what are we doing now? Okay, you got this done.
So help me with that. So you've been married for how long now? You and Mike?
Hey, it'll be 11 years tomorrow.
Nice. Happy early anniversary.
Thank you.
So look, are you that person, or are the two of you 2 individuals whose brains never stop working? Like, are you just that person? Like, talk to me about the dynamic in the marriage.
Oh my gosh, he is totally that person.
How's that work?
So it's so crazy because I think my personality, I know my personality is way more stronger than his. Like, I'm the one that's like,
a little more laid back.
Yeah, and he's more like but he is constantly like ever evolving. He's on that same train. And it's like sometimes I have to stop him. And I just did this to him last night. And I said, babe, listen, you have to come make sure that it's something that I want to do too. When you saying like, hey, we about to do this.
Right.
But we're so passionate about
Sure.
whatever he might come up with something. Because even though you join this union, this marriage, and you become one, you are still two individuals.
Absolutely.
You still have your way of thinking. He still has his way of thinking. So
Absolutely.
I mean, he's like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do this. And I'm over here like, I want to do this. I want to do that. So then the worlds collide. And then we just have to figure out how are we going to do this and what are our roles going to be? Because most of the time our roles are different in whatever it is that we're doing.
Listen, we got to unpack that. And I know this is random, but one of the things I love about you is that I've met a lot of dope females, man. And sometimes I'm super like leery and uncomfortable about getting close to them because they're so dope. And without like within like seconds, you infuse yourself like with my wife, whether she wanted to be infused or not. Like it's almost like, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl. Like we all one family. And before you know it, we was all FaceTiming one day together.
Yep.
And you already know that's not the vibe. My wife, nah, she might come get her hair done. Right. But be like, okay, thank you. Yeah, like, that's it, right? Yeah. And so I love the fact that I just love who you guys are. You're I see a little lag, I'm sorry, but
oh no, it's okay.
Your spirit. But I really want to talk about blending families.
Mm-hmm.
If we could step into that realm for a little bit. So you guys were both married before?
No, just me. I was married.
Okay, so
it was more like it was a situation.
Okay, situation. All right, so you had kids, and you all had to come together.
Yes.
How challenging has that been? Just high level. We don't need details.
How much time do we have?
No. We have a lot of time. But here's the thing. I know there are a lot of people that are in these positions. And, my wife and I had a little hiccup. And when I tell you what kept me up at night was just like, and probably selfishly, like, yo, I invested a lot of time and energy in my marriage and with this person. And of course, we were together in college. And then to become adults and to start a family, like, and I know the way I grew up, I never, like having to take that step,
right?
Huge. And so I see it done, and I see it done successfully. And then but I also see the behind the scenes where it's like, I feel like you're spending the rest of your life trying to continue to blend because it's never going to really truly blend perfectly, right?
Right. So the thing is, first of all, you said a couple things.
I always do. I talk a lot.
Yeah, no. It's cool, but I want to make sure that I get answer your points and stuff. But yes, being a blended family is not easy at all, and we never have really. This is the first time that I'm speaking about this publicly because we just haven't really yet. But our children were young when Michael and I came together. I think our youngest were, if I'm not mistaken, 2 and 3, when it was all said and done. And the middle might have been 5, and then my oldest daughter might have been 8 or something like that. So they were very young, which they got to grow up together, which was great. They're all grown now, and things have turned, taken a turn for the better. The relationships are getting better now, but we put a lot of time into, trying to cultivate that side of the marriage and the relationship. And at one point, it was, very tough, and it put a strain on our marriage. So you have to figure out what is worth it to you. Now we got to sit back and say, you know what? Are we going to take control, over this situation, or are we going to allow the kids to dictate how that
can happen easily?
Yes. So we had to really set the tone in our house. We had to come together and be like, listen, it's God first in here. It's husband and wife. We're mom and dad. And whether you like it or not, this is it. Right. And if you're going to be here, then you have to follow these rules of this house. And this is simple. Because one thing is certain and two things short. those kids are going to grow up and
Mm-hmm.
leave the damn house. One of the things my girlfriends, a few of them asked me from time, like, how do you, what is the most important thing? How do you get through this? Like, how do you do? And I'm like, you have to have a friendship.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have
Big.
that friendship is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Huge. Because see, when you have that friendship, you have a foundation that is becoming stronger because that friendship strengthens a whole lot in that marriage. And
Yeah.
if that's missing, if that element is missing, then you can easily be like, choo, choo, choo.
Walk away.
You know?
And here's the thing though, like, just because, for those listening, just because you don't or may not have a friendship, or there's ebbs and flows, because it's not all, you don't always like the person, doesn't mean that you can't get right back, right? Or doesn't mean that you can't work towards it. But damn it, you don't have to be intentional about it. You gotta be intentional about that thing.
Absolutely. I mean, for real, to keep it 100, how many of us have been in relationships where we didn't have, a friendship? I mean, that was my first marriage was like that. I didn't have a friendship, and that's why it was a first marriage. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so important. The kids can do a lot of damage, and I say that with all due respect. But if you and your mate are not seeing eye to eye, and if y'all are not laying down those ground rules, our my husband's children lived in Philly, so they was here all the time. They was here summers. Then they ended up moving in, moved out. It was ups, it was downs. But we always showed them love, regardless if they saw it that way or not. We knew that we are giving you love, and one day you'll get it, and hopefully one day you'll get it.
Hopefully one day you'll get it. So talk to me about legacy, and I'm going somewhere with this question, but you all are building a lot, and one of the things that when I talk about publishing my book and all of the beautiful things that I may be doing personally or on behalf of my organization, I really think about legacy. My wife probably hears it way too much in terms of, even we want to move, right? And I'm like, I don't want to sell the house. Like, this should be like, when the kids graduate college, legit, they should have property, right? And so I'm thinking about all the things that you all are building over there, and we can go on and on. Talk to me about legacy. Like, do you find that some of your kids are like, yo, I got next? Do you find that some of your kids are like, I'm good, I'm charting my own path? Is there a combination of the two? Or if, God forbid, if something were to happen to the two of you, do you feel like race
step up
is no longer? Talk to me.
You know what? Our children are, the crazy thing is, they are all creatives. All four of them. They are all creatives.
We're different.
Yeah. We're creatives. We just do it in a different way.
Yeah, for sure.
We do it from behind the chair. We do it a bunch of other different ways, know. And our children are the same way. So we let them know that we're doing these things, and we're building this for you. And you were saying earlier about when you were talking about the whole dad thing, and you were saying that the dad not being in the house, and not just because he's there doesn't mean he's there. And it's so true, because we worked so much because we just wanted so much more. I'm sure, as you and your wife do for your children, it's like you don't want them to live the way that you live. And even if it wasn't all that bad, but we didn't have shit when I was growing up.
Right.
You couldn't tell me that. My grandmother made me feel rich. So yes, we're saying, listen, we are creating legacy for you guys. We want you guys to have something when you're not here. We want your kids and their kids to have something. We want it to keep going on. But I do not see any of our children rolling up in the race like, I got this. I don't, it's just not what they're interested in. My stepdaughter is now, she's going to school to learn how to do nails. So she's the closest thing to it right now.
For sure.
But the other ones, they're into music, and one's into the medical field. So And they were straight up with us like, no, we don't want to do that.
So here's the thing, though. So as a business owner and as someone who's building something, and of course we all see Sonia and we see all the people that are like stakeholders that are there. You know, when you think about, because I had a show where we were talking about legacy and your will and what you're leaving. You know, if something were to happen to you, when you think about one day you're going to walk away from this, what happens to the physical? What happens to the business? Does it keep, like, how do you then start to delineate who would take that on? I'm just curious. Or do you even have these conversations?
Well, we haven't had a whole bunch of conversations about it, but the process has, begun. I'm almost 50. My husband will be 50 in September. I'm 47. And we know that we're not going to be standing behind a chair 20 more years, even maybe 10 more years doing hair. So we do know that we don't want it to just end because we're done. So we're hoping that somebody, that feels like they have vested enough time and, work and energy, whatever, blood, sweat, tears, whatever you want to call it, that you can say, hey, we have trained up enough people, so this can still happen without us being here. And of course, that will be the complete ideal situation. So
I love it, but I also think we have to do more of having the conversation and listening on the people, because succession planning is, be it at work, full time, be it at our entrepreneurship efforts and whatever the case may be, it's super important. I talk about it all the time. Like, I hate being a one-man show.
Yep.
Like, I do. And so, but also you got to make sure you're having the right people on the bus with the right spirit, and that's going to keep that thing running, because some people just drive and don't change the oil.
Yep. And then what I'm finding too nowadays, especially now being in this business for so long, what I'm finding is, there's a lot of entitlement, and people look at you, what you do, what they think you have. And, they just like, oh, I want that, but they don't want to do the work that goes into it. Or they might think they did enough work, to go ahead and still get to the end of the book without starting at the beginning, So I definitely see that more so now with some of the generations that's coming, behind us. And I mean, yeah, you're right. The conversations have to be had.
So listen, I can't have you on the show, and I know you don't have your partner in crime, and not mention the fact that you all play like an important role. And it's kind of a big deal because you all kind of started some big event. I don't know what the name is, some big event that happens all over the world. And you all, the two of you, brought it to Delaware. So can you give us a little insight on that?
So how I was talking to you earlier about how my husband propels these things, and and I'm propelling things too, but he's over here. So one day he just came and was like, hey, they're doing this event. It's called Dinner en Blanc, Dîner en Blanc, in Philly, that he was watching a different cities. And what got him was he saw how it was bringing people together and the great things that it was doing for the community. So he says, I think we should do this. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking he's going to do his due diligence and take some time and boom, boom, boom. Then like a little while after that, he's like, oh, babe, we got approved. And I was like, for what? And he's like, Dinner en Blanc. And I'm like, oh, wow. So we're doing this. And it really happened just like that. And he was just so like adamant about, we have to bring this to Wilmington. Everybody is always saying how bad Wilmington is, and it has this, bad outlook on it, the crime rate and this and that. And he was like, this can turn that around. This can turn it around for the city. We have to do it. And we did it.
Yeah, I mean, so I got so many questions. So it went from idea, concept, to let's just apply, to let's make it happen. One of the things I'm asking myself is, are you all the first to try to bring it to Wilmington? Because I would have thought that would have been a no-brainer.
We found out, I think it was last year, that somebody else had tried to bring it to Wilmington before us, but it was unsuccessful.
Okay.
The vetting process for Dîner en Blanc is
pretty serious.
Yes. So we went through, I want to say it was about 3 months of vetting, tests, phone calls, like all kinds of stuff. Like it was crazy. And if you're not strong enough to go through that and get through the other end, then you're not gonna make it.
Yeah, yeah. So, one of the things I don't think people realize, when I see people open up a business or I see people in the new endeavor, I always say, wow, like I love the energy they're putting behind it. But one of the things I think about is like it's going to take some time to really gain some momentum. Some people have the perception, because like, give me the number, throw a number out there of how many people we gather at one Dene Blanc.
Almost 2,000.
Almost 2,000 folks, right? So they start doing the math and they're like, yo, they balling, right? Can you give us a perspective on what go, like, because I got a little peek behind the scenes and I'll be like, oh, I'm good. Whatever y'all need to do, need help, I got you, right? Because I peeked a little bit like, oh, y'all got it.
You are like so amazing. You don't even understand how you got a rep up at international headquarters, sir. They know who God is.
We were on the dance floor getting it.
Was the man. He was on top of everything. He took care of us.
That's what's up.
Yes. But I mean, first of all, I'm gonna get in trouble because Mike is not here. Hi, baby.
Not my fault, Mike.
This was all Kavan, if you want.
It was impromptu. You gotta be ready for these things.
So what was the question again, sir?
The question was, there's the behind the scenes that are unbeknownst to people. Like they see how much per and the fact that they got to bring their own, and they see all this glam and glitz, but they don't realize
all the work.
The work, man, it's more than I even imagined that it would be, to be honest with you.
It's a lot of work, and you really have to be dedicated, to the cause, not to the dollar. You have to be dedicated.
One more time for the people in the back so they can hear you.
You have to be dedicated to the cause and not to the dollar. And I'm gonna say that for this and for most
everything else.
Yeah, you know what I mean? If you want to be successful at what you're trying to accomplish.
That's good.
It's so much. First of all, you got to work with your city. You got to get the permits. You got to find your venue spaces. You got to find the vendors, the caterers, your wine people, your champagne. And a lot of this stuff is not sponsored, so you have to pay for it, and you don't get any money until you ticket sales. So you're using your own money up front, so there's not like people, you're right, they're looking at, it's all these people and they trying to do the math. It's this how much the ticket was and this how many people it was, so they done made this. No, we did not. But we doing the work. We're going to keep growing it.
You will reap the benefits, but it takes like I was thinking, like it takes at least 3 years to run a successful event to actually profit from it.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's like going into business and expecting it to be profitable really in the first 5 years. It really doesn't happen that way unless you have some serious ass profit margins that is off the chart from the beginning, from when you go in. It just doesn't happen that way. You have to put that work in.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. So what do you say to the people that are almost naysayers, right? There's so much going on now from a social standpoint where you have this event and we're going to do an all black event or whatever the case may be. And for me, it's like, whatever floats your boat, do your thing. But I'm sure you get all types of responses of, so let me get this straight. I have to pay you this and bring my own stuff. Like, how are you navigating almost the naysayers or the people that are giving you a lot of energy towards, like, I mean, because what it really comes down to is if it's not for you, it's not for you. But they're making it their business to say, look, this is not for me, but why do you have to do it this way?
I mean, it's pretty much, you can't put any energy into that. You really cannot. You can answer the question if you want to and just say, hey, this is, first of all, the event, we didn't create the rules or the guidelines for the event. We're following Dinner en Blanc International.
Another thing I didn't know, that you guys had so many rules.
We are in over 30 countries, over 92 cities or something like. It's grown tremendously. So we're not setting the rules. They set the rules. We're following the rules.
Right.
So, you know, we just lay down the law. This is it. This is what we have to follow. And that's it. And it's either for you or it's not. You know, it's an exclusive, you know, ultimate experience. So it's either you want this experience or you don't.
And it gets better every single year.
Yes. Yes. Either way, it's going to go on. So
I'm glad you said that, because some of us are asking ourselves the question, will it indeed go on, given the fact that Corona out here in these streets? So talk to us about what's been going on your end, and how much can you tell us and how much can't you tell us?
Well, I can't say much at all. My husband calls it the Verona virus. Has wreaked havoc on so many things, you know, especially events and outdoor events.
Right.
With so many people, you have to think, how can we be safe in a space where we're going to drink together, dine together, congregate together? Like it really can't be done right now. And that's all I can say.
Okay. Hey, listen, don't try to do it virtually, because I'm not coming. I'm just saying, like, don't do that. Like, I understand the spirit. I'm good.
Doing it virtually.
I'm good. I'm not interested in whatever virtual Zoom experience you're trying to create. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but I was trying to create a.
I'm just saying, I vote no. Even if that's the case, I just vote no. And so I'll help in whatever way I can. You won't see me on anybody's screen. Like, it's not that. It's too much. Sometimes you just gotta know when to gracefully be like, you know what, just can't.
I agree with you. I mean, some things are just better done in person.
Hey, listen, so I always do a part, and I want to be cognizant of your time, and we typically try to end around 7:30, but I always go over because I talk a lot. But I want to do a variation of 20 questions. So it may not be 20 questions, but are you game?
I'm game.
All right, cool. So we're gonna jump in there. First question. Have you found your true purpose, or are you still currently on the journey? And you said you're almost 50, but I don't want to make any assumptions. Talk to us.
I have found my purpose. You want to know what it is?
Well, it was a close-ended question. So I do that on purpose sometimes, but I would like to know in 10 seconds or less what your purpose is.
My purpose is to be a blessing to others.
Short and sweet. I like it. All right. Next question. What's one thing that people hated about you growing up that they now have grown to appreciate?
I would probably say, me just being so damn picky. But when you get older, it's appreciated.
That attention to detail.
Yes.
Who is your favorite human on the planet and why? You like that? I had to make you think, because you like somebody gonna be offended.
Oh man.
I mean, human. I mean, look, we're spirit led. We love energy. Yeah. Like, talk about human. I mean, it may not be somebody that you've met, but I'm curious.
My favorite human.
All right, I'll make it easy for you. It doesn't have to be me. Think of somebody else.
All right. Okay. I can move on from that. I have a mentor, a lady that's like a mom to me.
Okay.
And she came into my life in a transitional time where I was going through a transition in my life, like trying to figure out, you know, what my relationship was going to be with my mom. And God said, boom, I got something for you. And I would probably say, because of the way that she's helped me cultivate my womanhood,
wow,
she would probably have to be my favorite human. Wow. Yes.
Hey, listen, there is something very powerful about people who come into our lives and help us cultivate and really they pour into us in a way where we can show up as the best versions of ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know, albeit spouses, parents, the whole nine. And if you are on this earth and you think that you don't need that person, you are sadly mistaken. I prayed for that for my wife, and I would imagine that she's prayed for that for me, because the in all honesty, some things you just can't get to each other, even in like a marriage, like, or as an individual, you need that wisdom and that person that you respect.
Kevin, come on, that word is bomb right there. I'm telling you, because we grow up, with voids. A lot of people grow up with voids, some bigger than others. And sometimes we're searching and trying to fill those voids with other things that really shouldn't be there. And God sends these
That's
people.
a whole different show. Come on, man.
Listen, and he sends these people. And if you're paying attention, because if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss who he's sending to you. So
you're going to fall into something that you ain't supposed to fall into.
Man, you got to be on a receiving end.
Yes.
And yes, that's so.
I love that.
Yes.
Hip hop, R&B, jazz, gospel. What's your vibe?
My vibe is I like all of them, and I'm not just saying because I don't want to pick one, but it really just depends on what beat of the drum I'm moving on in that moment.
So however you wake up. Next question. This culture of fitting in, and we alluded to it earlier. What's your advice to specifically young girls, or even women who struggle to simply embrace themselves? Because we all know, like, sometimes I've met some adults that are still trying to find themselves and figure out what circles they fit in. And so just talk to me a little bit about that, because you seem to kind of have it together in that realm.
Well, again, for me, I always just did what I wanted to. Really, I never was the type to hang around a whole bunch of people or seek approval from a whole bunch of people. Not because I felt like I had it all together, because I really did not at all. But I would say, for me, the biggest thing was to build a strong relationship with God. Like, that was like first. It feeling like fulfilled on that end, helps.
Everything else falls in place.
Yes, it helps tremendously. And then, adding to that, you need a mentor. You need a mentor. Everybody should have a mentor of some sort.
Yeah, one of the things someone told me a long time ago, they said, always have someone you look up to, someone that's like on your level, and someone that's looking up to you. And if you live life in a way where you had the trifecta, you'll never go wrong.
That is amazing advice right there.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yes.
What is your biggest pet peeve? She like, I got like 10. So let me see which one you want. How much time you got?
I cannot disloyalty.
Oh, I believe that. You seem like you seem like that's the part where it's like, you know what?
It's over for me. It is. You remember when Steve Harvey did the show, his stand up, the Kings of Comedy, start pulling out the plugs?
Oh, yep.
It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
I mean, one thing you can't live without.
My husband.
That was so cool. Where he at? He in the living room or something?
No, he's not. And I hate, and it's not. It's my husband and my kids and this.
Yeah, but
my husband he's my best friend.
I love that.
He's my best friend.
I love that. That's a whole different segment, because we can go on and on.
Yes. Yes.
Think of your worst heartbreak and tell us the lesson you learned.
Wow, I think the worst heartbreak for me was.
And you don't have to necessarily say it, but what lesson came out of whatever this was?
Oh, so just think of it. Okay.
Yeah, just because, it may not be all of our business, although, I'm nosy, so.
Okay. No. So I can tell you that my worst heartbreak and the lesson that I learned from it was to be better than, or to be better to my children than I felt
growing up.
Yes.
That's powerful. Why don't we leave that right there?
Yes.
That's good, because that is something that I want to talk about. Man, I think but I think that there's so many levels to what you just said, because then sometimes we do so much that we feel like we're overcompensating for all the things that we didn't have, which can be damaging as well. It's so much we can say about that, but that's powerful, to be better to your children than in situations where, than how you felt growing up. Cool.
Yeah. And it was definitely a lesson. Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Quickly, what do you want to retire doing? Ideally.
I I want to retire doing life still. I still just want to be able to just live my life to the fullest, and I want to. Some part of me wants to be in Jamaica somewhere.
Why did I would have said that. With a
Yeah,
straight face, you said that.
my
Okay.
I mean, a huge part of my heart is, right there.
I
So
got you. I got you. Do you believe in soulmates? I feel like I know the answer. Have you found yours? I feel like I know the answer. So let's go. Let's go next. Um, name one woman in leadership that moves in a way you'd like to move one day.
Michelle Obama.
Hey, I like that.
Yep.
When it's all said and done, what do you want to be known for?
She was a blessing to others.
Okay. Your definition of hustle.
Keep that shit going.
On that note, where are you spiritually?
Very grounded.
On that note, I want to know about your soul, right? As a Black woman in this moment, with all that is going on in the world, like, how is your soul? How is your spirit? We always talk about the plight of the Black man. We talk about folks killing our children, our Black people in general. But as a Black woman, and that's a whole different show, how the struggles and systemically what Black women have gone through, right? And for a Black woman who has raised Black kids, how's your soul doing in all of this?
My soul is shaken. My spirit is grounded. My soul it shakes a lot because I'm a mom. I'm a wife, and it's scary. It's some scary shit going on now. So I definitely am very prayerful. I try to make sure that I'm covering as many people and as much as I can, but my soul aches still, for our Black men, for our children, for the legacy that we're still trying to build on everything that's going on today. So I don't know, my soul is just, it's not at ease.
Good. Thank you for sharing. All right. So last question for you is, what question do you have for me? And then we're going to sign off.
What? How many questions I get to ask?
You get to ask two. The last two questions.
2 questions. What is there anything that you want to do to change the world?
How much time do we have? Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm in development. For those who don't know, I raise money for a living. I've been doing it for over 17 years now. And I love what I do because it allows me to engage with people. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I got a grant to be able to do more of what I love to do, which is to completely impact communities and with change and pour into men from a developmental standpoint so that they can be better versions of themselves, and to help the homeless and to travel to basically Kenya, Ghana, and Haiti to be able to also share their wealth over there, I would absolutely do it. Like the craziest feeling ever is to know, and it's crazy in a good way, that God is like preparing you. So he's preparing me for something that's way bigger than I even had the capacity of understanding. And I say that with the greatest degree of certainty because I'm in relationship with God. There's been a lot of years where I was just going to church, but I have a relationship with God, and I realized that. And sometimes I have to call my wife on it and say, look, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I have to continue. I have to keep my foot on the gas.
Right.
So that because life is about when preparation meets opportunity. And so when the opportunity hits you and you're not prepared for it, then that's your bad. So God has poured something into me where I have to stay the course, and I have to stay under good leadership, good tutelage, be around good people, because I can't afford not to. I got to be ready, because when it hits,
that's right. because those distractions, they come and they try to take you off course, and then it's like, man, you know, you got something to finish here.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, it's not all about me. Like this, there's so much that needs to be done. So I'm not sure how much you know about our brand, but we go into colleges and universities and we get paid to go in and speak. Now, for years, it's been me. Like, I come home with the big check. And I'm realizing that I don't have the capacity to touch every student the way that they deserve to be touched. And now God is expanding my territory to the point where I have people in my circle that are specialists in these areas. So who am I to be like, I'm not going to come up off of this plane ticket, this stipend, you know, because they need to be in these spaces too. So now I'm which makes me so happy. I'm in a position where I can step back and allow other people to share the stage.
I can tell, I can hear the excitement in your voice, and it's so
That's powerful to me.
Because it just goes back to what I was saying, like, you know, my purpose is to just be a blessing. And when you're just being a blessing, first of all, when you know that it's your job to be a blessing, that's so much packed up into that, because you, like you said, you got to keep everything right, everything around you, your connections, the people, everything, because you got a mission to carry. You got a mission. You really do. So my second question for you is, do you feel that you are doing everything that you can to reach your full potential and being a great father and husband?
All right, so that's a heavy one. So as a father, I would probably say 98, damn near 100%. Like, I don't know what it is about being a dad. And I dreamed about being a father, and I dreamed of my kids. Like, I knew exactly how they were going to come in the whole night. I wanted them so bad.
That's so.
I do not think that I've been 100% the best husband. And a lot of that is, man, you know, and this is why I do the work that I do, because sometimes, brothers, we expect our wives to raise us, deal with all of our inadequacies, and, you know, be forgiving, go through all types of hell, take us back. Like, and it's just so much packed into it. But I really honestly would say that I have to do better in so many areas. So I'm helping, I'm kind of co-leading the men's ministry at my church. I go to New Covenant Christian Fellowship under the leadership of Bishop Ray Taylor and Pastor Donna Taylor. They are freaking amazing, right?
Oh,
and we move from religion to relationship. That's our motto. And like I'm just really under good leadership where that's modeled, where my bishop will tell me flat out, like, "Nah, dog, Fridays is date night. How you doing over there? Get it together." You got. And so I know I need to do better. So we decided that Saturdays would be our day. And so, you know, like, I think that that's super important. Particularly, you say it all the time, like, your kids, when they're going to leave. And so we pour so much, and I know me, I pour a lot into the kids. And I think sometimes I don't do as much. And so I say all that to say, on the men's ministry call yesterday via Zoom, we talked about that. And so I said, yo, by a show of hands, how many of y'all got date night, you know, regular scheduled date nights with your wives? And it was crickets. Listen, we can't be up in this church, you know, doing all this, praising God, being all of that. And our first ministry is at home. I know better. So I know I stand in conviction, and I know I had to do better. Right. To answer your two-part question, I'm absolutely not doing everything that I can do. And a part of that is like, and shout out to Black women, man, because particularly we're creatives, because we're always running. Like, my wife had to sit down, and first of all, I praise God for her, because she had I know her very well. There was a process when she wanted to talk to me about this. It probably took her a full 24 hours to say, how do I say it in a way in which she hears me?
Yeah.
Now I'm just gonna say it, which is probably why I'm always in trouble. But when I tell you, when she sat down and asked me about balance, I can tell that she had toiled over it. She had prayed over it, and she wanted that thing to hit different. So
it was important to her. It was important.
It was important, but she also wanted to be like, yo, I see you at that computer, sun up to sundown, and then you switch gears after your 9 to 5, and you're fully loaded in Brothers Brunch, bruh. Hi, like
I'm over here.
Like, what's you know what I mean? And so when she sat down, you know, y'all, I'm generalizing, y'all always be like, we gotta talk. As soon as y'all say we gotta talk, we already know it's something. What did I do?
Hate that. I don't. Y'all
It
hate
happens to all of y'all. I don't know who you are.
It really does. So I mean, to your point, it can be a little intimidating, I guess, if you just like, we need to talk. But I think by the time we get to the point and we like, we need to talk,
we really need to talk.
We need to talk.
We really need to talk. But no, what I'll tell you is balance. My wife wanted to talk to me about balance, and I received it in the spirit in which she gave it, and I was happy that it didn't get to the point where it was like, nigga, like, yo, you don't get your yo.
Thank God for that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was told by my spiritual mentor.
Okay. Same woman?
Huh?
Same woman or different person that you talked about earlier?
This is a
spiritual
mentor. She's like a mom. The other lady's like a mom to me.
Okay, got it.
She's like a straight up mom to me, like hands down. But she told me, she said you need to go and ask God how he wants you to approach your husband. And I was like, really?
It's different though. Because the way he wants you to do it ain't the way you want to do it.
Listen, but you know how much discipline that takes? You don't realize how much discipline it takes until you're about to be like, I'm gonna be back.
That's why accountability is so important, and fellowship, and being able to be somewhat transparent. You know, we as a culture, we tend to suffer in silence, and we don't talk about our stuff. You know, you can't talk about your man, you can't talk about your woman in front, you know, and all that. But I think when you find your courageous and your safe space, those are the moments where you say, look, I need guidance. I need to know, you know, and of course I'm gonna pray about it, but you know, what are your thoughts on X, Y, and Z? And typically that person loves the both of you.
That's equally. Right. And that's what it comes down to. Mike and I talked about that on one of our lives. When you have to have the right people. You can't just be going to any old body trying to talk about any old thing. You have to have the right people.
That's why I said I respected you. I felt like our energy, we was getting cool, and before you know it, it was like, where my girl at? I need to talk to your wife. What's up? How's she doing? And I was like, yo, that's what's up. That's the way you gotta come with my wife. Because yo, trust and believe my wife gonna be like in the background anyway, like,
yeah, like who that is.
And how long you been friends? Yo, so I love our relationship. Thank you so much for being my saving grace. Of course, I had a guest. I'm going to check on her. I'm not sure what was going on today, but this is how you do it. You got to still do it. You know, the show must still go on.
Happen.
Yeah. I appreciate you. Salute, my queen.
For having me.
My boy, I said, what's up, my friend?
Love
that dude. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Tuning in to another episode of Food for Thought. Take care.